everyone, Anisha Angela here. I'm here with a different kind of message. As you know, there's a lot going on in the world right now, and a lot going on in the world right now, and it's led me to think of my contribution to the Black community and what my purpose is as a woman of color, a Black woman in the field of ECE. I think my main focus is to call on other early childhood educators, whether you are Black, a person of color, or a non-person of color, or non-Black. This is our time. This is our time to show up for our children. I'm calling on everybody within the early childhood field. I'm calling on you to strive to do better. I'm calling on all of you to speak out loud and proud. I'm calling out to everyone to ensure that we are the voices of the children. That's exactly what our field is for. That is exactly what our goal is. We're the foundation of education for children, so it's time for us to step out and to be the change that we want to see. It's time for us to be the change that we want to see. It's time for us to take the step ahead and stand against what's going on around us, and building a safe space for children, and not only children, but Black children. As educators and owners within the early childhood sector, it's our duty to make sure that children feel included, that families feel included, and families feel loved, especially at times like these. That's the main concept we really have to really get through. I think this all brings me back to my experience growing up. I was in childcare. I obviously was in school, and seeing teachers and educators that look like me was not a thing. On top of that, the teachers that were non-Black or non-people of color, they weren't really educated in creating an environment that I can identify with. Now I'm proud to say, as I am now in the field, there's a lot more Black teachers and teachers of color. There's a lot more non-Black teachers and teachers of color that are out there that are striving to create diverse environments within their classrooms, within their schools, which is excellent. But of course, with all things, we can do more. I'll say it definitely took me some time to gather my thoughts, gather my emotions, gather myself into what I wanted to really discuss, and it brought me back to my field. My field is early childhood, and I feel as if our foundation of our education is based on early care of children. And we're in a time where there's a huge division around the world. Even though majority of what's going on is in the States, it's around the world. We really have to take a stand on next steps. We really need to take a stand on creating environments that exemplify children that we serve, families that we serve. So I really wanted to create this video to be able to reach out to others within the field, to challenge them. I've challenged myself, as an educator of color. I'm Black. As an educator to adults and children, as a leader, I've looked within myself to see what else I could contribute, and I feel as if everybody can do more. And if I can do more, you can definitely do more. But with that, I also want to applaud the many people that have taken the necessary steps to continue the movement. The movement doesn't stop at the protest. The movement doesn't stop at the petitions. The movement doesn't stop in the dialogue. We need to continue this every day, especially those within the early childhood sector. We need to strive to be better. We need to strive to continue to create the dialogue so that children, Black children within your classrooms and within your schools, feel protected, feel safe. I think another thought that comes to my mind is for non-Black and non-children of color to also feel safe in an environment where they can ask questions. They can ask questions, they can reach out to educators who will give them the knowledge and the truth. A lot of children may not have that at home, and that's something we have to understand as well. Children are young minds, obviously. They're young minds and they're inquisitive. They want to know more about what they see. So we also have to make sure that we're creating safe spaces for other children as well to ask those questions and to be able to learn off people like us in the field that know better and want to see change. So you're probably wondering, what does that look like within our sector? The first thing that comes to mind is the line that we use quite often, and that is the environment is the third teacher. The environment is the third teacher, and what that basically means is the environment teaches for us. And I feel strongly that this connects to what is going on in the world, because we need to do better in terms of creating resources, creating experiences, and creating materials for children, especially Black children, that they can relate to. I think that's the big focus at this point. We want children to remain as children. We don't want to, though we want them to know the truth, though we want things to be realistic, we want to protect their childhood as much as we can. And I find that, of course it's important for them to have a dialogue in terms of what's going on in the world. But I think there is no better way to teach them about themselves or to teach other children that may not be Black or a child of color about inclusivity and diversity. There's no better way than to have an environment that exemplifies that. And that means resources, materials, toys, books. Books are a huge thing. And of course, as an author, I'm going to bring that up. But books are a huge thing. There should be books on our bookshelves that show children of color, Black children in positive lights. So that's the main thing, and that's the challenge basically that I'm bringing to early childhood educators, providers, and owners, is to take a look at their environments and to see how they can make a change within their environment to ensure that they're promoting the diversity, the inclusion, and the love that they all want to display. Because I know early childhood educators, we didn't go to school to do the opposite. We went to school because we love children, all children, and we're passionate about children. So yeah, that's my challenge. And I also wanted to mention that with this challenge, I want to create support. As a consultant, as a specialist, as an educator, as a professor, I want to also support you in your journey. I've had a lot of educators and school owners and principals actually that have actually direct messaged me on Instagram and Facebook asking me questions in terms of what they can do to improve their environments and be more diverse friendly. And it has led me to think about my contribution and how I can help and support. So I've actually begun to develop a master resource list of items such as books, books, materials, toys, visuals, you name it. I'm gonna have a master list of all items that educators can purchase, can print, can complete, and put within their environments. And that's my way to support you in this challenge. So in all, I just want to conclude by saying, let's continue the work that we've been doing. We are the stepping stone and foundation for children. We're their first teachers. We are their first teachers. We are the ones that create the stepping stones towards who they become. We play a big part in it, of course. And we really have to take on the challenge and the thought process that this is our time to be able to exemplify that.